It wasn't enough that he humiliated her in public. Not enough that PK Kemsley was caught kissing another woman. Shana Wall, a familiar face who once smiled at their wedding. Not enough that photos of his betrayal spread like wildfire, turning Dorit Kemsley's heartbreak into tabloid spectacle. Because the real devastation wasn't what PK did with his lips. It's what he did with his lawyers. Within weeks, Dorit's estranged husband made his boldest, coldest move yet, launching a legal attack straight at her Bravo millions. No prenup, no mercy. PK wasn't walking away quietly. He was demanding half of everything. Her Real Housewives salary, her brand deals, her reality TV fortune, all suddenly fair game in his eyes. For Dorit, who had already filed for divorce and sole custody, this was the unthinkable twist. Betrayed, blindsided, and emotionally shattered, she now faced a second battle. One that wasn't about love, but survival. Because PK wasn't just leaving Dorit. He was trying to take everything she built on her own. The headlines came fast and brutal. PK Kemsley caught kissing reality star Shana Wall just hours before Dorit's divorce bombshell. In a single night, everything Dorit Kemsley tried to hold together shattered. April 24, 2025, Los Angeles. A dimly lit valet entrance. Paparazzi lenses focus and capture the moment PK leans in, his lips meeting Shana's with reckless confidence. There's no mistaking it. This isn't friendly. This isn't subtle. This isn't even hidden. It's deliberate and public. The images hit social media before PK even leaves the parking lot. By morning, they're everywhere. Entertainment blogs, tabloid sites, Housewives fan pages, all lit up with the same jaw-dropping question. Did PK really do this right before filing? But what viewers didn't know, what made jaws drop even lower, was the history. Shana Wall wasn't just some random woman. She had been there front and center, years earlier when PK and Dorit said, "I do." A wedding guest, a friend of the family, a woman who toasted their love and cheered them on. Now, she was at the center of what felt like a calculated humiliation. Dorit's reaction didn't come in a public statement or an angry Instagram rant. She stayed silent, too stunned, too shattered to speak. Behind the scenes, though, friends say she collapsed emotionally. Those closest to her later revealed she broke down after seeing the images. There was no coming back from this. And so, the next morning, Dorit made a decision. April 25, 2025, just one day later. She walked into court and filed for divorce, ending nearly a decade of marriage in a single, bold move. The documents said irreconcilable differences, but everyone knew what pushed her over the edge. The kiss, the betrayal, the public humiliation. But as painful as it was, Dorit believed she was doing the right thing. She wanted peace, custody of her children, and to move on. She thought the worst was behind her. She was wrong. Filing for divorce may have ended the marriage, but it opened the door to a much darker war. Dorit's divorce petition was clean, clear, and, in many ways, fierce. She requested sole legal and physical custody of their two children, Jagger and Phoenix, determined to protect them from the toxic mess that was unfolding. She asked for spousal support, but more importantly, she wanted control, stability, a life without PK's chaos looming over her every move. But buried in the legal paperwork was something neither she nor her fans could ignore. Something that changed everything. No prenuptial agreement. That detail, overlooked by the tabloids in their rush to report the kiss, was the true game changer. Without a prenup, California law views all income earned during marriage as community property. That means Dorit's glamorous, highly lucrative reality TV career didn't belong to just her. In the eyes of the law, PK could make a case that he was entitled to half of it. And Dorit had built quite the empire. Her salary from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was among the show's highest, boosted by brand deals, endorsements, public appearances, and spin-off income from everything from fashion to home decor. For years, Dorit had become more than just PK's wife. She was a standalone Bravo star. But on paper, that fortune was vulnerable. PK's own financial history only made matters worse. This wasn't a man with secure income or independent wealth. This was a man who had filed for bankruptcy in the UK, battled lawsuits, and recently faced foreclosure on the couple's $8 million Encino mansion after missing mortgage payments and owing back taxes. PK didn't just need money, he was sinking. And now Dorit's earnings, the very money she built through years of filming, fighting, and hustling under Bravo's cameras, were suddenly in his crosshairs. Legal experts watching from the sidelines immediately recognized the danger. No prenup plus California divorce equals an opening PK could and likely would exploit. And exploit it he did. Because weeks after Dorit's filing, PK's attorneys delivered the blow Dorit and her team feared most. PK wasn't just responding to her divorce petition. He was going on the offensive. His legal team argued that PK had been a key part of Dorit's public persona and reality TV life during their marriage. They pointed out he regularly appeared on RHOBH hosted events and contributed to their lifestyle branding. They claimed that Dorit's Bravo salary, brand deals, and influencer earnings weren't her fortune. They were marital assets, and PK wanted his cut. Worse, he wasn't just asking for a piece of past income. He was targeting Dorit's ongoing and future earnings as well. The money she was making right now, and would continue to make long after their marriage had ended. PK wanted a share of that too. Dorit's inner circle describes this moment as devastating. Friends close to her say she broke down when the legal papers hit. To her, this wasn't just about money. It was about control. About PK trying to stay tethered to her success long after their marriage was dead. The betrayal wasn't just personal anymore. It was financial. It was total. PK had already embarrassed her publicly. But now, he was coming after the very foundation of the life she fought to rebuild. As the courtroom battle began, Dorit realized this wasn't just about ending a marriage. It was about protecting everything she had left. The betrayal had shifted. What once played out in whispers and tabloid headlines was now printed on legal letterhead. PK wasn't just filing a response to Dorit's divorce petition. He was turning the split into a financial siege. His lawyers wasted no time making it official. They were targeting Dorit's Bravo earnings. Every episode filmed, every reunion special, every brand deal inked while married. PK argued it all counted as community property. In his legal team's view, Dorit's fame and fortune didn't rise in a vacuum. They were built during the marriage. Together, PK's team painted a version of events that stunned even Dorit's closest friends. In this narrative, PK wasn't a struggling former manager living off his wife's spotlight. He was portrayed as a partner, a contributor, even a co-star in the RHOBH empire Dorit built. They argued his appearances on the show, support in her business ventures, and shared lifestyle showcased heavily on screen made him integral to the brand. If Dorit profited from that brand, PK wanted his share. But it didn't stop there. PK's lawyers went for the jugular, asking not only for past income accumulated during the marriage, but also for ongoing earnings Dorit would make in the months and years after. In legal terms, they framed it like this: reality TV fame isn't a one-and-done paycheck. Dorit's public image and star power, built while married to PK, would continue generating revenue. Therefore, PK argued he should be entitled to future residuals. And then came the other bombshell. PK also requested spousal support, despite his very public financial troubles. Debts, failed businesses, and even a foreclosure battle, PK claimed he was entitled to maintain a lifestyle close to what he enjoyed during the marriage. Put simply, PK wanted Dorit to pay him, not just once, not just in settlement, regularly. The move was aggressive, cold, and deeply personal. When the paperwork was delivered, insiders say Dorit was devastated. This was more than she ever imagined. In private, sources revealed Dorit broke down, inconsolable. According to one friend, for years she had worked to step out of PK's shadow and establish her own brand and independence. Now, he wasn't just chasing her money. He was threatening to tie himself to her future whether she wanted him there or not. For Dorit, this wasn't just a legal ambush. It was a deeply emotional blow that reopened every wound PK's public betrayal had carved. But in the courtroom, where emotion means little, the fight became all about numbers and who deserved what. As the lawyers prepared for battle, one thing became clear: Dorit's side would not let PK's claims go uncontested. Her legal team fired back immediately, preparing to dismantle his arguments piece by piece. Their position was firm and simple. Yes, Dorit earned her money during the marriage. Yes, PK appeared on RHOBH. But Dorit was the face, the worker, the public figure. PK, despite his appearances, was not her business partner, nor should he profit from her future success. And more importantly, they argued PK's case was weakened by his financial track record. This wasn't a man who invested wisely or built shared wealth. This was someone drowning in debt. UK bankruptcy. Millions owed in back taxes. The Encino mansion sliding toward foreclosure. PK's spending, in Dorit Kemsley's view, should disqualify him from benefiting off her future earnings. The argument wasn't subtle. Dorit's lawyers warned that funneling money to PK could harm Dorit's ability to provide for their children. At the center of it all, the children. While PK focused on Bravo paychecks and brand endorsements, Dorit's legal team kept hammering one point. Dorit was the stable parent. Dorit handled daily childcare. Dorit, not PK, had maintained the kids' emotional and physical well-being since the separation. This was about more than dollars. This was about protecting their kids from instability. As both sides squared off, the judge issued temporary orders while preparing for the long road ahead. And while no final ruling has been made yet, legal experts watching closely say Dorit has reasons to feel cautiously optimistic. Here's what has happened so far. Dorit continues to maintain full control of her current and ongoing Bravo earnings until any final judgment is made. PK's attempt to seize large portions of her income remains pending and contested. Custody remains with Dorit as primary caregiver, though legally shared at this stage. Spousal support has not been granted, though PK's request is still active in court. While Dorit won a temporary reprieve, insiders stress the case is far from over. PK's claim to her past and potentially future Bravo income will be litigated further in upcoming hearings. And because there's no prenup, PK legally still has a window, however narrow, to make his case stick. But make no mistake, while the courtroom rules on property and support, the court of public opinion has already delivered its verdict. Fans and followers have rallied hard behind Dorit. Social media has painted PK as opportunistic, especially after the Shana Wall scandal. Even Bravo executives, according to insiders, breathed easier when early rulings meant Dorit could continue filming and earning. Still, the shadow lingers, because until a judge signs off on final orders, PK's hands remain close to Dorit's fortune. For Dorit, every day is now a battle, not just for peace, not just for privacy, but for every single dollar she fought to earn on her own, in front of millions of viewers. The legal war rages quietly, motions filed in hushed courtrooms far from the glitz of Beverly Hills. But the message couldn't be louder. PK isn't done yet. The cameras stopped rolling. The gavel had yet to fall. But for Dorit Kemsley, the battle wasn't paused. It had only gone underground. After months of public humiliation, legal blindsides, and sleepless nights spent fighting for her financial survival, she had won, but only for now. Yes, Dorit still held onto her Bravo paycheck. Yes, she was still the face of her brand. Yes, she remained the primary parent, raising her children away from the ugly legal back and forth. But the threat hadn't vanished. PK's spousal support request still hung in the air like a loaded gun. His claim on past Bravo earnings still sat on a judge's desk, waiting for another hearing date. For Dorit, victory wasn't a champagne pop or a reality TV confessional. It was quieter, lonelier. Victory, for now, meant reading every new legal notice with shaking hands. It meant raising Jagger and Phoenix while bracing for the next court filing. It meant filming RHOBH scenes while wondering if every dollar earned might end up in PK's pocket. The public had already made up its mind. Online, Dorit's name trended alongside hashtags like #TeamDorit and #ProtectYourBag. Fans weren't subtle in their disgust toward PK. He cheats, then sues for her money? Unbelievable. She carried the show and now he wants half? Stay strong, Dorit. Even Bravo, ever calculating, subtly shifted the storyline. Dorit became the face of resilience. PK became the ex-husband fans love to hate. But reality doesn't always align with reality TV. In court filings, narrative doesn't matter, only law. And in California, where no prenup existed, PK's lawyers still had ammo. The future hearings would determine not just the final division of their marriage, but the true price Dorit would pay for walking away. Would she keep every dollar tied to her hard-earned fame? Or would PK chip away at her fortune piece by piece, dragging this battle deep into 2026 and beyond? Only the judge and time will decide that. For now, Dorit holds onto her Bravo millions. For now, PK remains locked out of her accounts, but not out of the fight. For now, Dorit picks up the pieces, determined to be a mother first, and a public figure second. But as history has already proven, from the kiss that ended a marriage to the legal filings that followed, in Beverly Hills, nothing stays private forever. And when PK makes his next move, when the courtroom doors open once again, you'll hear it here first. Because in this saga, the war for Dorit's millions is far from over. For more of the latest news, check out this video.